Smiles from Kim Jong-un. That's the Drudge Report headline. No more war. And they are tentatively, the Associated Press reports, moving towards the end of the Korean War that never stopped but simply got paused during the armistice of July 27th, 1953. And so the leaders of North and South Korea hugging. We have dramatic film footage, if you're watching us on television, of this. This has never happened. All of it after Trump put massive screws in the last year and a half to North Korea's thumbs and said the next screws are going in your head. You're going to have a carpet of bombs or a carpet of gold. Stop what you're doing. Give it up. And then the word was they were going to hit them in March. U.S. was going to 100%. The soldiers, the airmen, the military forces were told. The Marines were told. The Navy SEALs were told, we're taking him out. And he got the message, didn't he? It was the best of times. It was the worst of times. A tale of two cities. I'm your host, Alex Jones. It's Friday, the 27th day of April, 2018. We're going to be live here for the next 4 hours in the War Room with Roger Stone, and the great Owen Schroyer will be coming up. Peace is breaking out on the North Korean peninsula. And I can tell you exactly why peace is breaking out. And I will break it down in this first hour. But simply put, there's a new sheriff in town, and the globalists with China have specifically wanted a strategy of tension in the South China Sea as a pretext to move globalist forces into the area and as a pretext for China to have a diversion anytime they want it. And Trump does not want to continue to have the strategy of patience or the strategy of tension and these Machiavellian things. He wants stability and trade. And so massive pressure has been brought to bear right to the edge of a major trade war with China. Huge sanctions on North Korea that actually squeezed Kim Jong-un, the sickening creature. And he is also wanting to be on the world stage, so he wants to meet with Trump. And the plans and discussions have been going on for decades in the 60-plus year conflict that has never been ended. The war is still ongoing, to have a armistice turn into a peace deal and then turn into a 10-year plan to begin partial reunification between the North and South. Now, back on March 8th, I told you that. I was on semi-vacation in Colorado with the family. I called in when Owen Schroyer was hosting. And I said that I have sources in the State Department and Pentagon that said that this is a big victory, that so far they've already agreed to denuclearization, a peace deal, and that all of that had happened the day before in North Korea's capital with the head of South Korea's intelligence and military. Now, weeks later, word for word, it came out what I said. And it's not about tooting our horn. It's just the fact that we do have great sources, and we were reporting on something very, very positive, that at least so far as getting to the meeting table, Kim Jong-un has agreed to this stuff. Now, he might try to weasel out of it, but can you imagine? It's kind of like keeping the West and Coca-Cola and blue jeans and rock and roll, you know, the Scorpions out of Rolling Stones, out of Russia. Well, imagine North Korea trying to keep millions and millions of people in the dark about what planet they even live on, and only a few cities even have partial electricity. Why would that establishment really want that? Why would they actually want to live like something out of the dystopic science fiction movie? where they've got weapons and nukes and everything, but cannibalism was openly practiced. So it's communism rock bottom. And if you get more of the fascist model like China has, where Communist Party's still in charge, but they get to become billionaires, well, North Korea is going to go for that move. Still use their people as slaves, but it's kind of like Saudi Arabia's reforms. Well, women can drive cars and some can go to college, and you don't have to have your eyes completely covered. You can have a slit now. And it'll be the same in North Korea. But the point is, that's still big reforms compared to where they're at. And Trump and new policies has moved that there, showing that Trump has been right and that Trump is really smart and that Trump is a genius. And he's upsetting the entire geopolitical order, and it's a beautiful thing to see. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on this Friday Global Transmission. Smiles from Kim Jong-un. That's the Drudge Report headline, No More War. And they are tentatively, the Associated Press reports, moving towards the end of the Korean War that never stopped but simply got paused during the armistice of July 27th, 1953. And so the leaders of North and South Korea hugging. We have dramatic film footage, if you're watching us on television, of this. This has never happened since the Communist Chinese in 1950 sent in 4 million troops to fight alongside the North Koreans. Then they sent 5 million more in 1953 and overran our forces that had been beating them. MacArthur wanted to hit them with nuclear weapons, atomic bombs at the time, and he was relieved of command. We would have a whole different world. MacArthur believed it was wrong to put the communists into China. It was wrong to have put Chiang Kai-shek on the island of Taiwan. And he wrote about it, spoke in Congress about it. In his farewell address, old soldiers never die. They just fade away. And MacArthur was right. We should have hit the Chinese with atomic weapons before they got them. We should have put a capitalist free market system in, and the world would be an incredibly better place. But the same old globalists, the same old people kept communist China in place and let them now have a $900 billion trade deficit with us every year. That's not even all the intellectual property they steal. 300 billion of that 900 billion. It's a very conservative number. They steal everything. And now a more pragmatic system. Yes, it's all covered in the book, None Dare Call It Conspiracy, available at InfoWarsStore.com. Now this is all unfolding. And you see pragmatic, reasonable action from this president, and I absolutely want to applaud it on every front. And I think it's a great thing because the globalists through China have been propping North Korea up for a very, very, very long time. And now the meeting happened yesterday, in Korea Peninsula time. A big event. All of it after Trump put massive screws in the last year and a half to North Korea's thumbs and said the next screws are going in your head. You're going to have a carpet of bombs or a carpet of gold. Stop what you're doing. Give it up. And then the word was they were going to hit them in March. U.S. was going to 100%. The soldiers, the airmen, the military forces were told. The Marines were told. The Navy SEALs were told, we're taking him out. And he got the message, didn't he? So now it's not, oh, we'll agree to meet with Bill Clinton or we'll agree to, meet with some president secretly. No, we agree to end this whole thing now. and to ceremonially take plots of land from each side and put on the other for reunification. Guys, will you cue up the March 8th YouTube video? You can just search it. It's Kim Jong-un has already agreed to Trump's terms. And then I said that you would then see the meeting between the North and South, that they would announce a 10-year plan to begin integration, and that all of that would unfold. Just exactly as I told you, because we have great sources, and no one has given us credit. I tweeted out, and the bots go, oh, yeah, you're a liar. The deal wasn't made till later. The head of the CIA didn't meet till later. Yeah, there it is, exclusive. Kim Jong-un has already agreed to Trump's terms ahead of meeting. I think it's in the computer. It's in the TriCast. We played this about 10 times. We'll play it next segment. But the point is that I laid out exactly, word for word, what would happen in the exact order. Now, either I'm a geopolitical genius or I was told by high-level sources that knew exactly what was going on. Everybody knows we have these sources. But let's stop in the establishment media pretending we don't. You guys know the truth as well. You decide to lie about Trump and to say he's an idiot internationally, he's a buffoon at business, he's a loser, he's a moron, he's a punk, he's going to kill us all. It's the Clintons and the globalists that gave the nuclear weapons to Kim Jong-un. It wasn't even the Chinese. You people are out of control. You're the ones that are dangerous. Oh, but they've released hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of new text messages between the FBI agent Strzok and his little sweetie pie. And she sounds like a mentally ill basket case, in my view, whining and bitching. And I saw him on TV. I'm so scared. We're meeting with generals about how to stop him. And, oh, baby, I've got to go to this meeting. Oh, you have to go? That's dumb. I don't want to work. Now, honey, this is an important meeting about stopping Trump. Strzok and Page texts reveal they were angry in mourning over James Comey ouster. It's crazy. I mean, you're talking about, you know, they're putting in cry closets all over the country and Play-Doh and construction paper if you're upset. And when they catch people giving out pocket constitutions, Project Veritas and others caught this on video, they go into the dean and say, I'm scared. And they go, come in here. We've got Play-Doh for you. And little stuffed animals. And people like roll around and go, oh, this is complete regression. Saw a headline a few years ago that 35's the new adult. I'm not Jewish, but I actually agree with Jewish views on that. 13 years old. You treat somebody like they're an adult. You make them do adult chores. They're an adult at 13 on average. That doesn't mean they get to buy liquor or get married, but you start really treating them with the responsibilities. My dad was sent to apprentice in factories and oil rigs and offshore stuff and picking cotton, just taking part in it, the whole 9 yards. So he would be rounded. And by the time he was 10, he'd just get on a bus and go anywhere he wanted around the country. By the time he was 15, he was going to UT Plan 2. But that's because they treated him like an adult. He could skin a buck, run a trot line when he was 10 years old. I was driving tractors and stuff when I was 10. Once or twice I did run through the fences and things, but that's how that works. And when I was 10 years old, I could shoot a buck in the eye at 300 yards without the gun at rest.
When those top government envoys and the South Korean intelligence chief met with Kim Jong-un last week for 4 hours at dinner, I have it from high-level sources that they laid out the proposals for the North if they denuclearize and actually stop their militaristic activities, and the South also offered a plan to begin a 10-year program of reunification. But the Communist Party basically has to stand down and then fade out and just become robber barons over the incredible wealth, but their people won't be starving to death anyways. But it is a transfer, a segue, a stepping stone out of the most abject, hellish place in not just modern history, but in world history, many analysts believe. So here's the statement. Kim Jong-un has already tacitly agreed to the terms of the Trump meeting. Trump's not going to go to that meeting without getting an agreement and without having it be ironclad. He's not going to go there and not have the victory. Okay, so I'm going to explain this. The meeting already happened last week after all the diplomatic and military pressure. And you heard it here first. You'll guarantee that a month or so after this happens, it's going to come out that Trump already has the agreement. Now, does that mean Kim Jong-un might not try to back out or do something? Who knows? But this is a big day, ladies and gentlemen. The truth is the Clintons and others gave them the reactors, gave them the missile secrets to build them up as a threat, working with China. The globalists have been allied with China against America, playing a double game. Trump is ending that double game, just like he went to Saudi Arabia and said, you're not going to fund ISIS anymore. You're not going to fund Al-Qaeda. You're going to free women. And they rolled over because the U.S. and Britain had put the Saudis in power, Britain particularly, and then the U.S. took that rollover in the 50s. Goes back to Lawrence of Arabia. So we're the boss. We had evil people in control, basically funding radical Islam and protecting it and letting it do what it did. Trump's a pragmatist. He said, this is all over. That's why you've seen North Korea begin to roll.
So that goes back into early March. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what I was told by sources, and that's the plan, and that's why we knew that it had a really good chance of being successful. And now you're seeing, it looks like, if anything, South Korea is accelerating what I was told over a month ago. That the plan is accelerating. And you noticed about 3 weeks after I said all that, it came out in the news, Kim Jong-un and North Korea already had to agree to the framework of what they were already agreeing to ahead of the meeting with Trump and the meetings with South Korea. And now you see it all going forward because North Korea wants to go ahead and not be the center of embarrassing evil on the planet. But there it is if you want to go watch the full 10 minutes where I break it down, calling in from the road. Exclusive, Kim Jong-un has already agreed to Trump's terms ahead of a meeting. Now, I don't play that to brag and say, see how smart I am. I play that to show you why they hate us, why they attack us, why they demonize us. You know CNN has way more sources than we do. CNN knows they're making a real peace deal. ABC News, CBS News, MSNBC, they've all tried to stop this deal. They all know how real it is, and they're trying to sabotage it. Think about that. They're trying to say Trump's doing a terrible job. They're trying to say he's an idiot. They're trying to make this look as bad as it can and to say that, this isn't a good deal, and boy, Kim Jong-un's getting one over on us, and Whoopi Goldberg and Joy Behar says that, man, Trump's worse than North Korea. He's an idiot. He's going to blow us all up. They just said that a week ago because they're not living on the same planet as we are.
You know, someone very profoundly once said many years ago that if fascism ever comes to America, it'll come in the name of liberalism.
You're a white man! You're a white man!
If you are receiving this transmission, you are the resistance.
Over 20 years ago, Alex Jones created the media platform called InfoWars, and in the decades since, it's grown into a truly remarkable institution with over 200 radio affiliates, tens of millions of unique website visitors monthly, and a 24/7 live news TV channel broadcasting from state-of-the-art studios in Austin, Texas. InfoWars has become the most trusted independent news source in the country, dedicated to delivering breaking news, live coverage of special events, and exclusive reports you won't find anywhere else. While the old guard media struggles to maintain supremacy in a landscape rocked by innovation and technology, InfoWars has been at the forefront of the information revolution. From 8 million radio listeners, over 2 million YouTube subscribers, or the billions of views of our online content, InfoWars proves dominant in every facet of media we enter. For the hardest-hitting reports, uncompromising analysis, for high-profile interviews and bombshell revelations, accept no substitutes. Demand truth. Demand InfoWars. InfoWars. Tomorrow's news today.
One of the things I'm really proud of is the fact that doing my own research and talking to top scientists, we knew that there was an iodine conspiracy.
Iodine is in every cell of your body.
Iodine deficiency is the commonest preventable cause of brain damage and loss of IQ in the world.
In fact, over 90% of Americans are low in iodine.
Iodine used to be used in bread as a dough enhancer. Then in the early 1970s, most commercial manufacturers switched to bromide instead.
Since 1970, the iodine they collected in urine is 50% less now than it was then.
Research from a World Health Organization study show that 10 to 50% of people worldwide are deficient in iodine.
Most people, I think everybody, for the most part, should be supplementing with iodine.
And I am so proud of the fact that since I've been promoting iodine in the last 5-6 years, it is now all the rage at health food stores, you name it. But none of them are as pure or as clean as the original Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsLife.com. I was just about to walk out of the studio to pick my children up, and I got some bad news. For the second time in the 5.5-year history of Survival Shield X2, our flagship product, we are having supply chain problems, and this may be the last batch of this. You see, we have to go through the DEA to get this because it is pure atomic iodine. Everything else out there is bound or it's contaminated. It's not absorbable. It's toxic. We have deep earth crystal source that's so pure that it actually turns into purple gas in the atmosphere. And it's injected into palm oil, organic palm oil, in a proprietary patented process. And so in our own search to get the purest form, we discovered that oil companies and gas drilling companies had a byproduct that they were selling to pharmaceutical companies and also drug makers that they use to make drugs. That's why the FDA is involved, and that's why the DEA is involved. So it's a major industrial product being used, and that we could actually bring it to the public pure. But you've got to get contracts with oil companies and gas companies to do it. And once they figure out there's a market, they start jacking up the price. So we have a run of this, a limited run. We have a good supply right now. We're talking maybe 2 months of it. But this may be the clincher. We may not have X2 in this configuration in the future. But we're offering it still 25% off until it sells out. Hopefully, just like the last time this happened a few years ago, it's not an issue and we do get more. But right now, we are not able to secure the crystals that produce the purest iodine from our own research and the test in the world. Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsStore.com, InfoWarsLife.com. And you've got to experience what having the good halogen in your body does. Most folks in about 3 weeks go through a detoxification process, but what it does just for stamina, libido, focus, energy is really amazing. And if you don't have true iodine, pure iodine, you will end up having all sorts of disorders, just like water, just like oxygen. Without iodine, it is an essential element. It's available exclusively. Survival Shield X2 at InfoWarsLife.com and InfoWarsStore.com. And I hope, like a few years ago, that we can work this out. It's just right now we're kind of over a barrel, so I want listeners and viewers and everybody to know this stuff has a very, very long shelf life. I personally have stockpiled it, and your purchases fund the operation fighting for free speech, the Second Amendment, national sovereignty. So it is a true 360 win. Again, the term I coined, or what they said before, a non-zero sum game. So get your Survival Shield X2 today, along with other great products, at InfoWarsLife.com, and fund the tip of the spear in the fight for free speech and human dignity worldwide. This could potentially be the end of Survival Shield X2 as we know it. If you love the original like I do and thousands of others have, it's available now for a limited time at InfoWarsStore.com.